What's up, mind-blown viewers? Think you know everything about our presidents? Get ready to have your mind completely blown today. Forget boring history lessons, we're diving into the wild side of the White House. That's right, several US presidents basically ran their own private zoos. We're talking bears, tigers, alligators, and even elephants roaming around where national decisions were being made. Let's jump into this crazy presidential animal kingdom. Let's kick things off with the president you'd probably expect, Theodore Teddy Roosevelt. This dude was obsessed with animals. His home in New York, Sagamore Hill, was basically a private wildlife sanctuary. Roosevelt kept bears, lions, zebras, hyenas, and a crazy collection of exotic birds just roaming around his property. His 6 kids basically grew up in a zoo. They had a one-legged rooster named Fierce, a raccoon, a badger named Josiah who would bite people's legs under the dinner table, and even a horse that Roosevelt let walk inside the house and up the stairs. But here's the really mind-blowing part. Roosevelt's love for hunting these animals was matched only by his passion for conservation. The same guy who collected animal trophies also created 5 national parks and protected over 230 million acres of public land. Talk about complicated. Imagine being invited to the White House, needing to use the bathroom, and finding an alligator in the tub. That's exactly what happened to guest of our 6th president, John Quincy Adams. Adams kept an alligator in the East Room bathroom of the White House. And get this, he enjoyed scaring the absolute life out of guests with it. Picture important foreign diplomats running out of the bathroom screaming because the president's pet gator was just chilling in there. The alligator was a gift from the Revolutionary War hero Marquis de Lafayette. Back then, giving someone a deadly predator as a present was apparently totally normal. The most mind-blowing part? Adams wasn't even the only president with White House gators. Herbert Hoover's sons had 2 alligators that occasionally escaped and just wandered around the White House grounds. Secret Service agents probably weren't prepared for that in their job description. President Martin Van Buren once received the gift of a lifetime: 2 baby Bengal tigers sent by the Sultan of Oman. Can you imagine the White House with tiger cubs roaming around? Van Buren was absolutely thrilled and started building a special habitat for them. But here's where it gets crazy. Congress stepped in and said, no way, Mr. President. They literally passed a resolution forcing Van Buren to donate the tigers to a zoo. Imagine being powerful enough to launch wars but not allowed to keep kittens. Supersized, man-eating kittens, but still. Van Buren was furious. He argued that refusing the gift would insult a valuable foreign ally. He even claimed the tigers were his personal property, not government property. But Congress wasn't having it. Those tiger cubs ended up at a zoo, and Van Buren ended up as the president who got his pets repoed by the government. If you think modern presidents having a dog is exciting, wait until you hear about Calvin Coolidge. This guy turned the White House into a straight-up petting zoo. The Coolidge family had a ridiculous collection that included a hippo named Billy, a bear cub, a wallaby, lion cubs, a pygmy hippo, duker antelopes, a goose named Enoch, and even a donkey. But the star of the show was Rebecca, a raccoon that was originally sent to the White House to be eaten for Thanksgiving dinner. Instead of eating her, the Coolidges fell in love with Rebecca and kept her as a pet. She lived in the White House, had her own special tree to climb, and even joined the annual Easter egg roll on the White House lawn. Rebecca had free range of the White House and would often be found in the presidential bathroom playing in the water. Mrs. Coolidge would walk Rebecca on a leash around the White House grounds. She even had her own special Christmas stocking. Can you imagine a raccoon just chilling in the Oval Office while the president handled important national business? That actually happened. Thomas Jefferson never actually left America during his lifetime, but he was obsessed with discovering new species. He turned Monticello into part museum, part zoo, with animals sent back from the Lewis and Clark expedition that he commissioned. Jefferson had a massive hall at Monticello, where he displayed live animals including bear cubs from the Rocky Mountains, prairie dogs that he specially designed habitat boxes for, and magpies that would mimic his voice. Jefferson was so excited about these discoveries that he would send live animals to scientists in Europe. He once shipped a live moose, yes, a full-sized moose, all the way to France to prove his theory that American animals were not smaller or weaker than European ones. Unfortunately, the moose died during the journey, but Jefferson had it stuffed and delivered anyway. Talk about commitment to proving a point. James Buchanan is often ranked as one of our worst presidents, but he might win the award for most exotic White House pets. The King of Siam, now Thailand, gifted Buchanan a herd of elephants. Not toy elephants, not elephant statues. Actual, living elephants? Imagine the White House lawn today with a bunch of elephants just hanging out. Buchanan had no idea what to do with them. The White House wasn't exactly equipped for elephant housing. The elephants temporarily lived on the White House grounds while Buchanan frantically tried to figure out what to do. Eventually, he donated them to what would later become the National Zoo. In fact, many presidential animal collections helped establish America's first zoos. These royal animal gifts were a huge diplomatic headache. What do you say? Thanks, but no elephants, please. Presidents couldn't exactly refuse these living gifts without risking international incidents. We all know William Howard Taft as our largest president, who supposedly got stuck in a White House bathtub. But did you know he's also famous for having the last cow to ever live at the White House? Her name was Pauline Wayne, and she was a Holstein cow who freely grazed on the White House lawn from 1909 to 1912. She provided fresh milk for the Taft family daily. This wasn't just some pet. Pauline was a celebrity. She received fan mail, was featured in newspaper articles, and was even invited to attend a cattle show in Wisconsin. On her way to the show, something insane happened. Pauline was accidentally sent to a slaughterhouse. White House staff frantically searched and rescued her just in time. Can you imagine the headline? President's cow accidentally becomes hamburger? That would have been an international incident. These presidential menageries eventually helped create something we all enjoy today, the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. Many of these exotic presidential pets ended up there, establishing one of America's first and most famous zoos. Today's presidents have scaled back to mostly dogs and cats. Probably for the best. Imagine the Twitter meltdown if a modern president kept alligators in the White House bathroom. So there you have it. The absolutely wild history of presidents who basically ran their own private zoos. Next time you think presidential history is boring, remember there were literal bears, tigers, and elephants roaming the White House grounds. Which presidential pet collection blew your mind the most? Drop a comment below. If you enjoyed having your mind blown today, smash that subscribe button and notification bell to catch our next video. Until then, keep your minds open and ready to be blown.